Hey Tim, happy Wednesday.
Yes, and happy Wednesday to you too. Another day, another 1,000 issues.
Correct. I love the way you've colour coordinated your shirt with the REINSW sign. Well done.
Yes, well, you're either part of it or you're not. So I'll do my best.
Absolutely.
Whatever I know about clothing and colours, I learned from you.
Yes, indeed. So we had a great webinar with Michelle McLean this morning.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I said to Michelle in an email afterwards, I said, because you and I were obviously both on that, and I said to her, I took more away from that webinar than I actually put in. So, yeah, she's very, very knowledgeable.
She really is. Yeah,
and you got to say to yourself, I mean, this is brand new, this stuff. The ink's fairly dry, and she had such a great understanding of it, and also a practical sense, which I thought was sensational. So anyone who's listening to this that hasn't had the opportunity to have a listen to and you're in property management, then I think it's a must.
Yeah, definitely. The webinar was recorded and all of the slides are available with questions and answers. So just download that. I know that you'll find it really worthwhile. Okie dokie. So the REI Award submissions have closed, but we've had a great result with the numbers.
Yeah, like when we're looking at the data coming out, this is more broadly now, the data coming out of this whole COVID thing, we said we're all going to hell in a handbasket, and we've all bought into that, and we find out that we're getting 70% plus auction clearance rates, and in the webinar this morning we found out there's only 5% of people that's actually getting concessions on their rent, all the rest of it, and today we find out that we've got more.
11% more.
More people applying for the our awards program than last year. So
and 11% more. That's a really significant number. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled. I have to, and I got my fingers and toes and crossed that we can actually have a night where we might have to have it on a great big oval or something like that. So we can all have our tables spaced apart somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, let me tell you, if we can make it happen, we certainly will be. Now, media releases for this week. What have you got? What are you harassing people about this week, my friend?
Yes. So this afternoon we're putting out one talking about, and the catch line at the top is landlord's sentence but no crime. So the landlord is being being sentenced to financial difficulties, etc. And I'm beating the same drum here, but nonetheless, I just want to try and keep that in the forefront of. Well,
there's been no resolution. There's been no change, right? No. So yeah, it's important that we do keep banging on about it. So
look, I think so. And there was a comment that you made to me the other day, which I thought was very pertinent in this, which will find its way into a media release somewhere. But what is support for the landlord is support for the tenant. Yeah. And I thought that was a really, really interesting comment. And the other thing I've put in this press release is asking the question: had government stayed out of this completely, what would have happened? And government's involvement in this, in my view at least, has created this adversarial relationship between landlord and tenant. Now, if government had stayed out of it and allowed people to bring a commercial attitude with some compassion and some humanity to the discussion, I've got a sneak suspicion we might have ended up with a better result than we've got now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right because, as we know, there's been so many opportunistic tenants making applications that it's just really caused so much pressure and heartache for the property managers. But anyway, okay, anything else from the media release, or it's just that?
We've got another one going out probably Friday called The Doomsdayers and the Data. Yep. So we've got all these people running around telling us that the world is collapsing around us, but the data's not backing it up. So, so what we're going to be doing is calling them out and saying, well, it's all very well for you to go and get a headline, but that's really pretty irresponsible, and certainly the data's not backing you up. And I think, that's
specifically around sales data, right?
Oh well, I think also in the property management area as well. We've been hearing a lot of things about. That so many people, there's going to be 20,000 people going on a rent strike and all of this sort of stuff. And now we know that it's at this point it's not as bad. Now, my personal view is things are going to get worse in the tenancy area
Sure.
at the end of JobKeeper, but they're not horrendous here and now. So let's not throw ourselves off the cliff today.
Yeah, I know. That drives me mad when people are always focused on what might happen and what might go wrong. It's like, let's just focus on the here and now and worry about that down the track when we know what down the track actually looks like.
But don't you have a plan there? You're the online person.
It's not
I get
my
lost
plan.
in all the social media and stuff.
Yeah, I've had some calls from some people that are really keen to demonstrate exactly what you're saying in that press release, that the market, far from falling off a cliff, in fact, clearance rates were around 70% this week. There's been people queuing at open homes. And so what we want to do is encourage any of you sales agents out there, if you have got people queuing, social distancing, please make sure that you are all over the social distancing, but take photos of the crowds at your open homes or at your auctions. And if you can post it with the hashtag OZ property alive. All we want to do is try and get that hashtag trending with photos of lots of people looking at property. And that, as they say, a picture tells 1,000 words. So that would be awesome to get your support on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've just launched our new training website at REI, and as of yesterday afternoon, we already had 34 people book in for training. How good is that?
Yeah. I'm very, very pleased with that. The team's done a great job of that website. Yeah. It is quite engaging, easy to navigate, all those sorts of things.
And in particular, I know we've mentioned it before, but the conflict resolution training we really think is very pertinent for everybody right now. Yeah,
it was interesting today, again, back to that webinar, some of the pressure our property managers are subjected to, and we talked about their mental health and that. So if we can give them some tools and some processes about how to deal with all of that, I have so much sympathy for them. It must be dreadful every time you pick the phone up knowing that it's going to be another one just like the last one. Yeah, exactly. And to that end, we do have the wonderful Jet Xavier as our webinar guest on Friday of this week at 10:30. And obviously Jet is all about mindset and mental health and wellbeing. So book in for that. That is a free webinar. And I am really looking forward to being part of that one myself. And we have got I know we've been bombarding people with EDMs, but we have got a couple of EDMs coming out, particularly for our property managers. There has still been, even though we've spoken about this maybe 3 or 4 times, Tim, the resolutions that came out of Parliament last week is still confusing everybody. So firstly, the break fee. Talk to me about the 2-week break fee. You've got to go to MCAT. So the break fee, the 2-week break fee is if the parties cannot come to a resolution, then the tenant can go to the tribunal, and the tribunal can terminate the lease, give an order to terminate the lease with 2 weeks break fee. So that was brought in the legislation. Now, let's be really clear about this $2,500. The $2,500 is being waived to us out there, but at this point, it is not available. We're waiting on government to pull the trigger, so to speak, to actually bring it to life.
But we don't think they are. We don't think they are going to actually pull the trigger.
No. That's right. Good point. We underline that at this stage. As far as we can see in the future, government is not going to activate that $2,500. Yeah. Now, you and I, we have a view about that, and we're making a bit of a fuss about that probably early next week. Yeah. But so you never know. We might be successful.
Who knows? Yeah, we'd love to see it activated, but at this point, everything we've heard out of government is no, it is not going to happen. So please, if there's any confusion, reach out to the helpline or to me. Happy to have a chat with you about it, because it took me a while to get my head around it too. Didn't it? I kept saying,
I think one of the reasons that people are confused is it should be there. It should be activated, and because it makes
It has been in other states, not quite. Yeah. The other states, it's 2,000 rather than 2.5. Yeah. But it has been activated in other places.
Yeah, well, give me 2,000 over 2,500. I'm not getting.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly right. Exactly right. All righty. Anything else we need to cover before we go?
no, I don't think so. I think I'm right.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I will check in again on Friday. I'll see you then.
Yeah, I'll be watching with Jet.
Okay. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye all.